Let's see what's going on here. All right, let's try it one more time. I'm gonna check my sound engineer one more time. Babe, can you hear me over there? Not yet. I think there's a delay. I think there's a
Oh,
delay
God.
of the audio not working still. We can hear each other on Zoom, Kim, but let me just confirm with my sound audio engineer over there. We good?
No, on the live, when I turned on the live over here, it's on the audio.
The audio was on?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Well, you know what? Maybe we're getting the bad interference here. So let's just start all over right here. So we're back live here on HBTV with your host Harry Bugarin, my special guest tonight, and thank you guys for watching. We got 6 people in the chat right here. You guys can chime in anytime. We have my guest here, Kim Dang, who is a recording artist and a
Lady
designer, and
Dang.
she does many other things, and she's going to talk about that tonight. So. Thank you for sharing this time with me, Kim, and do me a favor for the people that are here now. A lot of them probably know you, but as I always tell my guests, for the millions that will be watching later, go ahead and tell them who you are and what you do, and all that good stuff.
Yeah. Thank you, Harry. I appreciate being on here. Just shout out to everybody out there. Thanks for tuning in. Those 6 people, which are going to be like millions for Harry in the future. I will be able to say that I was like one of his first guests, so I'm good with that. My name is Kim Dang, aka Lady Dang, recording artist and composer, arranger, and I blend genres of hip hop, R&B, pop crossover, and Christian music, and I design clothing, jewelry, houses,
Yeah.
anything that I touch, I'm gonna turn to gold. So that's pretty much my way.
That's great. And for the audience, just a little bit, the history I have with Kim is a couple years back. A buddy of mine, Phil Uranza, Phil 90745, Future Unlimited Media here. On the hat, my partner in crime right here, my guy, my brother. He introduced us, and we did a little podcast, 90745 live, and that was about 3 years ago. And so we touched a little bit about what you were doing then, and definitely we're gonna go into a little bit of that as the conversation goes. But do me a favor, man. Like, take us through the beginning of that journey of yours as far as a recording artist. I always tell my guests I love music. I love, for myself, trying. I say trying to create the music, creating tracks, trying to play instruments because I love it. Not the best at it, but it just gives me that joy, and it's therapeutic at times, and it just fills my soul, and I love it. Right? It's just sound. But as far as yourself, as far as your journey, like when did that all begin? As far as you loving the music, and then you actually getting into music and say, hey, this is what I want to do. I want to record music and create music.
I mean, my earliest memory of loving and being obsessed with music was Michael Jackson's Thriller album.
Yes.
Yeah. So my dad had that whole setup with, it was this tower of power for the stereo system, and on top was a record player. And so he bought me that Michael Jackson Thriller album. And
Nice.
I could not even stop looking at every single detail of the photography of that vinyl, and just read every single little tidbit of the songs, and whatever came out from there. I was hooked on the visuals, on the packaging, anything that, and mind you, obviously the music was insane on Thriller, so it still to this day is resonating with so many people, even so long after he has been gone. So there's diehard Michael Jackson fans, and that's who got me into music first, for
Right.
sure.
So going back to that album, one of my favorite albums as well. Right. Give me 3 tracks. Give me 3 tracks off that album that is just a must hear for you.
You can't,
Just
like,
just three though. I mean, we can save track for track,
no,
but just give me that top three of that Thriller album. Like, go ahead.
I can't. I
No.
can't. No, I'm not even going to give you three because
Okay.
that's too hard.
Okay.
That's too
It's just that's too
I
hard.
can't do it. But Thriller, the actual visuals that came out for Thriller was the biggest production that, I
Mm.
mean, we've ever seen.
Sure.
I've never seen theatrics like that. Not that I can remember on any video. So
Yes,
music.
John Landis did a great job. I remember we actually had a watch party. MTV showed the making of, and I remember we was at my Kuya Bob's house. Kuya Bob, Kuya George, Kuya Rich. We were all in the living room. We were all cramped in. It was the making of Thriller at first, and it was like stay tuned for the world premiere of that Thriller video. Man, it was tight, man. I loved it. I love it. And like you said, a lot of people were inspired or have been inspired by the Jackson Five and Michael Jackson. So that is great inspiration for you. So you must have been really small, early '80s. Listening to that, and that's great that music touched you that way with Michael Jackson. So as far as transitioning to that, you're seeing or you're hearing more music, right? And you're like, at what age, at what time, and what point, and what got you into as far as either writing the music and even recording that stuff for your own self?
Um, well, my dad had me performing in little shows and things like that, but not until I reached probably going to Cal State Northridge around like
Mm.
2019, 20 was when I was just writing a lot. And I came across, it was literally a happenstance, like life changing situation for me when I came to live with, her name is Melody Antoine. She's one of my best friends. She lives up in LA. She used to be this like trigatongue for Power 106, and she used to win all the live, I guess, battles on there. I
Wow.
forget what it's called, but I came into a chance meeting with her as her roommate. I didn't have anywhere to go. I was pretty much like homeless. And
Mm.
so her roommate invited me to stay with them for a little while till I figured things out. And boom, like next thing you know, Melody decided that, well, she was in a crew called AP, and they did all these showcases throughout all the colleges in Los Angeles.
Hmm.
And she noticed that I loved music and I wrote too. And so she was like, hey, come to the table and let me hear what you're writing about and
Yeah.
all that. But before that, I had never exposed anybody to any of my writings before. So,
And that's cool that a lot of they say once you get in college your world just expands exponentially, and you find different things. And for myself, a lot of experiences happen in college, so that must have been pretty cool for you to link up with a roommate who was into music, doing all that good stuff. During that time, like, what were you said hip hop, right? So what was some of your influence, or who were some of your influences as far as MCs or groups out there during that time? Just take us back to that era
limited.
of music that you were listening to at that time.
There's so many things I don't remember, but like Bahamadia really struck me as a really tight female MC. And then you have the Fugees, and I mean, you had Pete Rock and Rakim. Those are the kind of voices that I came up on. LL Cool J, but they were more even like after all of after rappers delight. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying?
Yeah.
the There was still commercial commercial commerciality
Mm-hmm.
to the music. It wasn't gangsta yet. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I mean? And that really tuned me in, because I was more of a peace loving person rather than like fighting. That was up to the gangbangers and stuff. But I was the dancer. I was a houser. I was that houser.
Ah, you were
You
a
know what I
houser.
mean?
Nice.
I was like underground hip hop dancing at 15 in the club. So
Mm.
that was mainly dudes. And so I was one of the only girls. And then I would link up with other girls that were doing it, but only like 3 or 4 of us were dancing underground at that time. This was like 15.
And
So,
really quick, like seriously, like give a shout out to some of those house crews that you were dancing with back
oh,
in the day.
shoot. It was Main Source. Prism was the girl crew. I
Uh-huh.
mean, it was like us. And we used to just practice after
Yeah.
school every
Yeah.
day. It was just like a sport. So
And
yeah.
that crazy is like, so, I mean, just going off of this, just Yeah, the house crews were dope, right? Like, when I was
Yeah.
DJing and just going through like the local scenes or whatever, you had your different crews and stuff like that, which was cool. And they battled, but it wasn't like, you know, malicious battles. You know what I mean? Like everybody just left it on the dance floor and that was cool. Not to say that breaking didn't do that as well, but no, it was cool to see that. It was cool to see like you said, the Housers, man, with their backpacks, man, and they're out there just grooving, man. It was cool. So shout out to all those house crews out there. You just brought me back with that time. But yeah, since you went to Northridge, man, did you like get to perform at those friendship games as well, and those Filipino joints?
That was actually my first performance. Was in front of 5,000 people at Friendship Games in
What?
Fullerton. It was hosted at Cal State
Uh
Fullerton,
huh.
and this was with the AP crew. And the AP crew kit, which is Asian Persuasion, we came out with, we sung, we danced and we MC'd. So we were triple threat up there, and it was so much fun. That
Yeah.
was us. Yeah.
No, that's cool. Yeah, I mean that's really around that time, and I remember going to a couple of those. So that's cool. So just really quick, we got still got a couple people in the chat. We have one last masked one. That person there, they say hello. So that's cool. Thank you for joining us, last masked one, and my sister and my wife as well. So yeah, so you get that experience. You're doing that. So what really, you got that. I'm pretty sure you're hyped. You're in full swing. You want to do this now as maybe as a career. I don't know. Um, Walk me through what your mindset was during that time, and how were you going about things?
Actually, I was stressing out Melody that day because I was in and I was out. I was in and I was out. I had no grid for performing at all, especially in front of that many people. I felt like I was going to throw up, and I kept on telling her I was going to bow out. I was going to bow out, and I was stressing her out. And once on stage, it was just like, okay, I could do this. And we were practicing so much that it was just muscle memory at
Hmm.
that point. And honestly, no, we never thought about it as a career. It was just something we enjoyed doing. But we were getting so much feedback that we were dope, and we're not going to sit there and say we're dope or like whatever. We're just being us. And I don't know. It was like open doors after open doors. We would be led to, other producers, and we would
Hmm.
cut tracks. These are like home studios, recording and in people's houses and stuff like that with their setup there. And it's so funny how everyone's zooming now and everyone's doing everything at home, because it's pretty much like a flashback to those days
Yeah.
where mixtapes started just like that. So I feel like we were just going and we just said yes to every single door that was opening, and we just found ourselves doing it. So
So with this AP crew, is this the only crew you stuck with, or did you join any other crews, make any recordings with those people, or it was just strictly with that AP crew?
well, AP was the group, and then it was Melody and I who rapped, and I sing as well. So um, me and her decided to do something together because we linked up with producers, and we were called like Abstract at the time, and it was
Mm.
just me and her. And we had like a brother guy crew, which was we're called Pretend We're Famous. They're called Pretend We're Famous, and
Mm.
they were a group of three guys and the producer, and they were spitting rhymes like left and right, and they were our brother crew, So wherever you saw them, you saw us, and we were doing the college circuit. Next thing you know, we were
Mm.
doing that. We were in clubs, in the back room because we were asked to perform, but we weren't old enough to be there, So
Yeah, yeah, no, I dig it. I dig it. I know how that is. So
it was
good
just like
stuff.
that.
So no, that's cool. And so again, everybody, you guys are watching HBTV, the show with my special guest Kim Dang. I'm your host Harry Bugarin. I'm glad technical difficulties has been solved and you guys can hear us. And just a quick note, last masked one, my ACL lone brother over here, that is actually Phil Uranza. He's saying what's up. I didn't even know that was his alias over here, Mr. Last Masked One. So that's cool. Then we got Rhonda R. Barber here saying, "Hey, Lady Dang." So that's
my girl
cool.
right there. Come on,
There it
girl.
is. So no, so that's cool, man. That you guys had that experience, and what's you keep in touch with? I'm sorry, Melody. Is that her name?
Yep.
Is she still rapping? Is she still doing her thing?
She's not doing music right now, but every single time I see her, I'm like, hey, you can still write. Your fingers aren't broken. So.
No, I dig it, man. So let's delve even deeper with that as far as transitioning from your experience with this, your rapping, your writing. When did that first track really hit, and when did you guys start recording that, or you recording that, and what was the process with that?
Well, when we linked up with this Pretend We're Famous crew and Ramel, who was our producer at the time, that's when we started recording, and there were people that just knew us because we had been performing for a while, and I'm assuming that you're talking about how did it get to recording artist status, and there was a film being conceptualized called Romeo Must Die, and the A&R for that movie was actually looking for an Asian hip-hop act. And this person went into some shop that a friend of ours named Tina worked at in Melrose or something like that. And she didn't know if this cat was real. It's like, are you sure? I'm not sure if I should give you their information. So can I have yours or whatnot? And so she's just this really realistic Korean girl from LA, no no getting over on her type kind of girl. And she's like, Kim, I don't even know if this is real, but I mentioned you guys to this dude, and they said they're looking. So here's the information if you want it. I don't, like, she goes, I just don't know. I just need to get it to you. And that's how we didn't have any press packets. We didn't have anything. What we did was took a couple Polaroids and we put it in a manila envelope, and we gave them like our most recent recordings or whatnot to listen to, and it got us a meeting with the record label.
So, and how did that go? Everything.
So we were signed on to be a part of that soundtrack, and that was the first time we ever received a check for our music.
Wow.
That's how it all started.
No, that's really cool, man. Romeo Must Die. So, man, that's awesome. Where did it take you guys from there? So obviously you got a taste of it, right? You got a taste of it, and you're like, man, this could really be something, for you to do, right? You weren't thinking about a career, but you're one of the few people that I know that did get a check from doing something that they love and what they have passion for. So anything evolve after that as far as this experience?
Yeah, I mean, we had a hard time navigating the music industry at that time. There was a lot of confusion as to what was going to happen with us as a group. But upon that first signing of just being on the soundtrack, we actually went to like the most expensive neighborhoods in LA and like asked each other, which house do you want? That's how we felt. So our dreams we were just going for dreams, and we didn't know what the next step was. We were super young, and we ended up getting signed and to see if we can have an album. But unfortunately, that didn't work out, and we just found out, we just found our way kind of not doing that anymore. So
yeah, like, what were like some of the challenges with that? I mean, like for us, right? I'm talking about people who aren't signed. We have this image of saying, all right, you get signed, man, you're gonna drop 2 or 3 albums. But later on, as you hear about different things, some people who do sign, for whatever reason, they either cut the album, or it gets cut, or it gets shelved and never get released. Like, what was the challenges with that? Like, we have the misconception, I guess. Once you're signed, you're going to get, your authorized or your guaranteed, an LP and EP. But like, if you don't mind, like, if you can walk us through like what kind of stuff as far as the challenges,
Yeah.
or anything like that happened to you guys with that.
I believe we were just super naive and coming into music business that at that time, it's no longer that way, but at that time, there was a lot of control that the record label could have with their artists. And not to say that we didn't record, we recorded a lot. We went to New York and we're flown there, and we were taken seriously as artists.
Okay.
And but it was this kind of storm of, okay, we were still finding our sound, our style, and what was put out worthy, right? And our thing between her and I. Not in the we didn't have contention in the group, but it was just like we were exploring like what our voices were. And
Sure.
then at the same time, things were happening with the label that weren't in our control. These were just in-house things that needed to get dealt with. And acts get shelved all the time. There's an incentive at that time that record labels had to sign artists. It's like, if you're not growing, then it's like any business. If you're not growing, then you're going down. So signing artists is you're growing, is a sign that you're growing or continuing to grow. And so, but that doesn't necessarily means that like there's enough that label can have in order to put you out. Or if they're having infrastructure issues, then your project can get shelved. And that it has to come from both sides. It has to come from a tight group, and then also a tight team, and you're on the same page and you're going the same way. So definitely don't assume that the label is your end all, or if you get found, that those are starstruck kind of illusions, and you really need to know what you're about before you enter into anything. That's the best thing I can say to people.
Well, thank you for that. Thank you for that insight with that. Again, you guys are watching HBTV, the show with your host Harry Bugarin and my special guest tonight, Kim Dang, and we're just going through her journey as a recording artist and what she experienced. And we're going to talk about a lot of things as far as her designs and things like that. We have one Dawn Shalisha. Sorry if I mispronounced your name, but she says, "Hey, Lady Dang." She's in here with the chat as well. And my sister-in-law, Agnes Kabillion, she's saying, "Hey, fam. Hi, Lady Dang." So anybody joining us, thank you guys. If you guys have any questions for Lady Dang, please write it in the chat. I'll field the questions and get it out to Kim, and hopefully she can answer them. So as far as transitioning from that, you have some solo projects that you've done as well. Talk about that transition and the type of music you've been doing with that.
So I hadn't done music in about 13 years or 12 years after that experience with the more like public recording artists type being signed, under a label. And it wasn't until I actually got into my faith that I started singing and writing again. And it started off with obviously worship in the church, and I hadn't sang in years. Because the experience before pretty much like it hurt me a lot, and so I didn't really want to look at that too much. But I sang out my heart in church, and I guess something was happening that I didn't know about. And when I felt my spirit being, invited back into music, it started out with writing. I wrote my first rap in like 12 years after that experience, and I didn't even know how to spit it. Yeah. It's like, you don't use it, you lose it or whatnot to a
Sure.
degree. But there's muscle memory in there
Hmm.
too. And I there's so many miracles around just that first story of that first piece of writing. Um, but from start to finish of conceptualizing that, I was on a mic doing, um, you know, what are those? Sorry, um, like open mics. I
Okay.
was on an open mic three
Right.
weeks
Uh-huh.
after I wrote that. So something was happening, and I got with Phil. I got with Phil. He was, I just felt I needed a beat and I didn't know who to get beats from anymore. You know, like when you're out of the game, you don't know anybody.
Yeah.
But Phil's name came up, Philly Phil came up, and he didn't even hesitate.
Yeah.
And that was like so much love from my brother Phil, and I can't even. That guy is.
And anybody who knows Phil, man, and he's on here as the last masked one. He's always that. You know, he's always down to help you for whatever. So even till this day, you know what I mean, for whatever music and whatever media content that you need to get edited and things like that. That's what he's all about now. So check him out again. My partner right here, Future Unlimited Media. He's talking. Kim was just talking about Phil right there. So I mean that's dope. Again, as we talked about, not really, you know, my platform to be. It is apolitical. It is non-religious. However, like I mentioned to you, I believe in that higher power, and that's positive. That's strength right there, and that's you know, that's purpose. You know what I mean? So as far as your, you know, you as an artist now, right? And it's, I'm getting chills about it right now because we're just talking about, you know, the God, you know, God and spirits and stuff. But as far, you know, let me know, let us know, as far as like your themes now, as far as like your music now, as far as what you write now, um, you know, I know it's centered around your faith and things like that. But what type of themes, as far as like what messages are you writing about now? Are you putting out there as far as your expression in your music?
Well, right now, all this time since I was invited back in, I had just been again in an experimenting, finding my voice, finding my way, and navigating it on my own now. And so right now, I'm about to come out with a song called Wonder Woman on Friday,
Word.
18th of December. It's
Okay.
gonna drop 12 a.m. It's gonna be ready for stream, and that has been a project that has been my passion project for the last 3 years, actually. It's one single.
Mm.
And if anybody knows creating something, it has a mind of its own. And some of them just sit there and some of them walk, you know? And so you kind of have to follow where they're walking to. And Wonder Woman took me on a ride for this
Mm.
last 3 years. It's a woman empowerment song because I don't know, something, the trifecta of those issues like the Me Too movement, what was happening with Harvey
Mm-hmm.
Weinstein, all of these women's voices were all of a sudden just really churning up on many, many different things. This is before the feminism movement
Mm-hmm.
got very huge, you know, and then Wonder Woman the movie came out
Mm-hmm.
in 2017. And next thing you know, I'm literally writing a song in 2017 that's called Wonder Woman. It's so weird, right? And that journey, it took me that long to discover what this song wanted to be. And it's literally the woman empowerment song of the age right now. It's just listening to all of those conversations and knowing my own story as well.
Mm-hmm.
It's a R&B pop crossover, you know, and it's it's just it's the morning cup of coffee for that woman that needs to get out of bed and be the boss.
Hey, that's what's up.
Yep.
I love it. I love the description of that song, that theme. Who actually was please tell us who's actually able to help you on this track, any producers and, you know, anybody else that was with you, or is this just all your production right there?
No, no, no. So it started off with SFR Beats, and they're just a resource that you can buy beats from or just lease them from them. My engineer and I'm a arranger and composer too. So I'm in there with my right hand man, Andre Elias. He's my main engineer and co-producer too, co-arranger, co-producer. We brainstorm a lot. I still work with him to this day. We work really well together, and we're back in the studio now. I'm going to cut an album. I'm in the process of cutting an album now, finally, after like just singles and EPs. But who else? Sundown Sessions is the lion's share of this production. When it got to them, it went to a whole other place, and the reason being is because I learned that there's so many more avenues, viable avenues to be a songwriter and make
Mm-hmm.
it your career. You can write for TV, film, and ads, music. You don't necessarily have to be the artist, but I do come in as an artist, top liner, writer, and a songwriter. So that whole world. Wonder Woman is what brought me into that whole world of sync licensing and the possibilities thereof. So Sundown Sessions is connected to that sync licensing like grouping that I came into. And talk about incredible production and cinematic production. I was thinking this was going to get, and I'm still pitching it. After 3 years, I'm still pitching to games like video games,
Mm-hmm.
TV, film, and ads, and there's 2 in review right now, even still. So stay tuned.
Nice. Yes, yes, yes. I mean, I can't wait for it. Can you tell us like where it's going to be available? For people
Yep,
that may be interested to listen to.
it's on every stream. It's going to be on every stream channel possible: Amazon, Spotify, Apple Music, iTunes,
Mm.
Deezer, YouTube. Anywhere you can get music, you'll be able to get Wonder Woman. So
Awesome. Well, I can't wait to hear it when it's released. I'm a Kim. You probably don't know this, but I'm a girl dad. You know what I mean. So, it'll be great to see a Wonder Woman like you, aside from all the other Wonder Women out there, like their mom, their Nana, their mama Rita, and all those guys that they see. But yeah, this is good stuff. Again, we can't wait for it, and thank you for that. So again, you guys are watching HBTV. You guys heard it here first, possibly, that the drop is gonna is gonna be soon from Wonder Woman from Lady Dang. So stay tuned for that. So, what I want to transition to now is just let's talk about you as a designer, right? So the things that you were talking about, you design. So tell us a little bit about that, and how you came about doing that.
so I actually come from a pretty long line of designers. My mom is a huge, like, she's, when we came over here from Vietnam, I'm
Mm.
first gen, but they were in the sweatshops.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Not
yeah.
those,
Let's just tell how it is. The sweatshops.
yeah,
Go
it
ahead.
was like mainly the textile
Yeah,
industry over here.
yeah.
So, but my mom, she needle pointed anything she can make. She'd make like matching sheets to the curtains, pillows, lounge pillows. She'd make our clothes. Um, my grandma was also very innovative in that way too. So I believe I'm just expressing remnants of my legacy, which is my mom and my grandma. Um, I have been sketching designs since I was in my 20s. I even got samples made in China, and that's very, very expensive to make samples, uh, sample patterns, like the
Mm-hmm.
patterns, in order to send it to a whole factory to make your clothes mass produced. Patterns are very, very expensive to make when you're constructing an original design. Nowadays, you can grab a hoodie, put a screen print on it, and say that you design. But And don't get me wrong, I did the same thing, because promotion pieces like that come out when you're pushing songs and when you're pushing music. So it goes hand in hand, and I've done that too. But on this past, the I Am Royal series that I have up right now, that's my hoodie collection. I have
Mm.
5 of them. I'm hands on again. Like I'm actually the one hand painting them, and not using any screen printing, and also hand dyeing them. So
Oh wow, man!
it's
Is
fun.
and do you have a site for us to look at that? You know, for the viewers that are possibly interested in seeing some of those goods.
Yep, for sure. It's ladydang.world/shop, or just ladydang.world.
So for that process, you said you're not screen printing with it. You're doing so you actually on the hoodie itself. You're painting whatever design
Yep.
that you're putting on, and what type of paints or are you using for that? This is
Oh
brand
my
new to me. I've never heard of anything like that.
God. Well, I mean, the marbling is it's like the opposite of tie dyeing,
Mm.
it's like the marbling just basically is bleach, but it's the way that you fold the garment to get whatever patterning that you have. I have to actually wear a painter's mask because I
Mm.
don't want any of this stuff to get in me. But I'm a very hands-on person. I don't feel right if I don't have like my touch on it. And case in point, hair. Like, I've done hair for 22 years, and I have to have my hands on it. And so it felt real special to be back in designing for the Wonder Woman promo, but
Mm.
the flagship hoodies, I Am series for my fledgling record label called Stay Royal Records. And this I Am Royal is the first series for that. So it's really fun.
Definitely when we get off the show, please send me that information so I can put it in the video description. So when people look back at it and on YouTube, they can click on that link and definitely see the items there. We have a question here in the chat. All right, it says, "Did you take business courses to help you navigate this world, the business and money management, and the money management side?"
No, this is all life experience,
Uh-huh.
and just taking chances and learning from them. Uh, Error, failure, and
Mm.
not being afraid to fail. For me, you have to do it and see where it lands, because you can't get the lesson of where it lands if you don't. So there's nothing better than life experience.
Mm-hmm.
But I am a firm believer in education, and so I would back myself up with classes. Does that make
Yeah,
sense?
yeah, for
It's
sure.
or courses. Um, but the gas to actually do it and get your hands and teeth into actually becoming that interests me more than because there's possibilities in the courses I won't know what they're talking about.
Yeah.
But with that life, a little bit of life experience, and then I take the course, and I know, I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, I didn't know I had a question to form around that, because I wouldn't have had the communication in order to understand. I needed to know that. Does that make
Yeah,
sense?
for sure, for sure.
Yeah. So,
Yeah, I it basically, I tell my girls all that, all the time. One, I got a daughter, my oldest, who's in sixth grade, and my other one is in fourth. And I tell them, I say, hey man, it's cool to be book smart, but you got to be street smart too, as well, right? So I said, you don't know that yet, but as soon as COVID lays down, you're gonna be running these streets, and you got to learn yourself. But not that's interesting that you say that as well, because one of my previous guests, shout out to Nino Linaria, who works for ABS-CBN, that Filipino channel, and he was telling me, man, like the stuff that that you're doing, and he the stuff that I'm doing here with this channel. He said, everything is an idea on paper, but until you actually do it, it's you're gonna experience it and feel that. So yes, the life lessons, and like you said, you just gotta put both feet in, man, and put 2 feet in and see where it takes you. And you're gonna learn. You're gonna put your finger in that socket a couple times. But as I say in jiu-jitsu, there's no losers, only learners. So hopefully you learn from that and get up and just keep pushing and moving forward. We do got one Edwin Eduardo here saying, "Hey, Lady Dang, what's up?" So that's kind of cool. Um, and we have another question from Dawn. She says, "What's your motivation that keeps you on fire to create during these times?"
Well, I mean, my faith is everything to me. It is my source of everything: strength, vulnerability. It is my main source, number one main source to do anything that I do. I mean, I've always had a vivaciousness for life, um, just because I'm a creative person. I always asked, well, okay, so the people are complaining, or they're worried, or they're filled with fear, but my brain always went to, like, but what if we tried this? Or I do have this in my hand, I do have this in my power, I do have influence over this. What if I tried this? So my brain goes, and my heart, my spirit goes more towards that type of dialogue. Challenges actually excite me. Like, they raise the question of, how can I be better? The challenge is actually asking me to level up and be better.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not it's not about figuring it out and worrying. And my faith has taught me that, like, what's mine will always be mine. It's just a matter of timing. But I do need to have experiences in order to get there. So I would say, I would I can't push faith on anybody. I would
Mm-hmm.
never do that. I have
Mm-hmm.
respect for everybody's beliefs and wherever they're at with that.
Yeah.
But for me, that's my number one source. So.
Awesome, and that's great, and that's great. And I think that's very important as well. It gives you strength, gives you drive, gives you purpose. Like I said, earlier with that. So thank you. And again, you guys are watching HBTV, the show. I do appreciate your time in joining us tonight. I'm your host, Harry Bugarin, and my special guest tonight is Kim Dang. Um, you know, be, we don't have that much time left, so I just want to ask you a few more questions with this, and I always ask this of my guests, like, what type of message, what type of advice would you give that person today, that young Lady Dang, trying to come up to the game here, to being an artist, recording artist, a designer, that it could be a young man, trying to do the same thing as you. What type of advice and messages would you give that younger generation that's coming up today?
I'd say it's two prong. I would say, if you can put something that your heart has a passion for on the shelf, if you can continuously put it down and it keeps coming back, it's definitely something to look at and take seriously. Um, After that, then, because you have to look into your heart as to why you're actually doing it. And if it's something that keeps coming back where you're not even paying attention to it, then it's definitely something to take seriously. So, because there's many roads that can lead you down many things, and you want to be here to do what you were meant to do here. So you don't want to waste time doing things that you're not meant to do. So, and once you get that clarity, patience. And I know people hate that word, but in even the challenges, like I said before, if you know in your heart, this is your being, this is your becoming, and this is part of who you were here to be and express, then you have to give it patience, because that's love. You have to show yourself patience, and also show yourself that kind of respect that you will give yourself that time to grow into it. And there's plenty of people that are going to come around you and want to help you. At the same time, life has a way of testing if you will really make the commitment of becoming who you really are meant to be. So just know that too. Just know that if challenges come, it's literally to make you commit to who it is that you are, and that no one can sway you from doing that. So it comes full force in all kinds of ways. There'll be surprise support in all the places that you would never even think there's support. And then there'll be very, very disappointing, like, for real, I didn't know you were a hater. And it's okay. It's all part of it.
I didn't know you were a hater. That's a funny one.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's crazy. But no, that's true. So thank you for that. Thank you for that. Just a couple more questions. When this is all said and done, and they are writing and about to film and pitch the Lady Dang movie, the biopic, who's gonna play Lady Dang? Who do you think is gonna be playing Lady Dang out there for that feature film?
I have never been asked that question.
I know. I just had to throw that in real quick to keep you on your toes.
Honestly, I think it's some little girl out there that is in a room, designing, playing make-believe, no matter what's going on around her, even if it's negative, she has her world that she does her thing in. And it's that little girl who's gonna grow up and play me.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Very cool. Well, we can't wait for the single to drop, and we can't wait for the biopic to drop as well. How about that? So, any last words or any shout outs you'd like to give before we go?
Hbtv, I give you a shout out. Thank you so much for giving me some airtime on what's happening. It's really exciting what's happening. I just want to say hi to my family and just give love to my friends. You know who you are, Rhonda. I saw you on the broadcast. So I just want to say thank you to anybody and everybody who has ever supported and has come along for the ride. And I want to even thank my haters, because it's all good in the neighborhood. Still going to do what I'm going to do. So
love to the haters, man. You got to give them some love too. They need love too, right? Haters need love too.
That's right.
But Kim, thank you for sharing your message, your journey, your passion with us. I do appreciate your time. Let me know, Hbtv, we're always here to support. However I can support, however, my family can support your cause and what you're doing, please let me know. I'm there. It's all good. And just want to thank Phil for linking us up together and reconnecting as well. And after the 3 years since we did that first podcast too. So thank you. You be safe tonight, and you have a great work week this coming week. And we'll keep in touch. I'd love to hear some progress of what's going on with you too. So you have a good night. Thank you.
Thank you. Shout out to Phil, Future Unlimited. Come on.
There it is. Have a good night, Kim. Thank you.
Good night, guys.
Well, so that was our guest tonight, Miss Kim Dang. Again, I'm going to get the description set up with more information from her, especially with her singles dropping, coming up soon, and also her designs and stuff. So check that out. Go support, check out what she has. I don't know if she does commission work as well other than her own designs, but hit her up. I'm sure she'll get down with it with the painting. I'm interested to see some of those hoodies as well. Again, I've never heard of anybody painting on a hoodie, but I would love to see it. So again, if this was your first time, if you haven't, please like, subscribe, share, and hit that little bell to let you guys know when Hbtv is live. Again, sorry about the technical difficulties in the beginning. I was trying to hit a double header tonight featuring Miss Kim Dang and a professional billiards player, Mr. Robert Hart. Some technical difficulties happened with that as well, but we're gonna try to get him going for next weekend if we can't. If we can, but if we can't, it's all good. You know, we tried here at Hbtv, and if you have anybody in your network who has an inspiring story and would fit this platform of Hbtv, again, we just broadcast positivity one episode at a time. So let me at him. I'd love to talk to him or her or them. It don't matter who it is. You know, just let me know. So until next time, I do appreciate your time. You guys be safe out there and have a blessed work week.